great to be here at the disco. Let me tell you what happened to me the other day. At the Piggly, standing in line, feeling nervous, waiting my time. Then a large can fell from my coat, so I shouted before they took note. Who threw that ham at me? Who threw that ham at me? Hey, please, did anyone see? Who threw that ham at me?
I want to go home now, you idiots.
Okay, disco garbage can. Yeah, flip your lid. Disco garbage can. Flip your lid. Yeah, get down. Alright. Twirl. Everyone twirl. So I turned and walked away. Like later on I would go and pay. Then it happened when I stopped. A frozen bird fell with a plop.
My family is waiting for me.
A frozen bird fell with a flop. Who flung this turkey at me? Who flung this turkey at me? What's going on? Didn't you see? Someone threw a turkey at me. Yeah, disco garbage can, everybody. Yeah, flip your lid. Disco garbage can. Yeah, do the disco garbage can. Who threw that ham at me? Who threw that ham at me? Hey, didn't anybody see? Who threw that ham at me? Who threw that ham at me? Disco garbage can, everybody. Yeah, get down. Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, go for it, baby. Yeah, that's really great. Well, everybody, I've made my scene here at the disco tonight, so I'm going on to the next disco. Hopefully, I'll see you there.
In the throes of these four rooms, bright and iron and withered fumes, far below these sinful means.
Hey guys, welcome to Dave Darren Show. Good to see some guys joining. Good to see John, who says, I'm okay making supper. Cool to see you, man. What are you making? What are you cooking up? I like food. I do like food. Like I said, I've been trying to get on. By the way, I've been trying to get on a diet, and here I am finally on the air. I'm going to drink a beer. Remember I told you guys I don't drink Pabst Blue Ribbon, so I drink all this crazy stuff. I never even had this one. Warstein. And at the bottom, what does it say? It says, Das Inzig Warren. This is a German Pilsner. I don't even know what a Pilsner beer is. I have no idea what makes a beer, a Pilsner or a draft. I have no idea. But I want to drink this sometime during the show because I've gotten rid of some of my belly. I got to get rid of the rest of the belly, but this ain't going to help, right? How much alcohol content is in this? 4.8% alcohol. That's not so bad, right? That's average. In Japan, actually, they have a beer. I remember there was I think it was a 9% beer, and actually you poured it on ice so that the ice, when it would dilute, it would not really dilute the alcoholic content of the beer. It was the strangest beer I ever had. And I've seen some 9% alcohol beers that typically you don't water down with ice. But this one beer, I remember the purpose of it was you buy it at 9%, pour it on ice to keep it cold. As the ice melts, it doesn't deteriorate the alcohol content of the beer. That's when you know you're a real alcoholic, when you put in beer that's 9% and you don't want to damage the alcoholic content when you put ice in it. Although, who puts ice in beer? I've never heard of that before. I did try it. It didn't taste any different, of course. So John's having buffalo chicken breast, pasta, and vegetables. You're making me hungry. Okay, I'm done with the show. Good night. I got to go eat. I'm hungry now. Thanks, John, for making me hungry. Good to see Kathleen as well. So I'm going to be drinking a beer. But tonight's show is a show that, last night I did a show that was very different as well. And by the way, I better straighten my shirt like Jean-Luc Picard of Star Trek. If you're a Star Trek fan, you remember he always pulls down his shirt so it looks nice and straight. Some guys do this. Here's a trick for some guys to make their shirt look really sharp. They actually tuck their shirt tail in to their underwear or their briefs, whatever they wear, boxers or briefs. And then when they put their pants on, the shirt is doubly pulled down by the pants, by the belt, triply. Pants, belt, and underwear, holding the shirt straight down and neat. A little trick for you guys. John, if you didn't know that, here's something you could learn, John. Or Kathleen, with the guy that you're with, husband, boyfriend, whoever. If you want them to have a straight shirt that's nicely tailored and looks nice and straight, have them tuck it into their briefs, their pants, with the belt, and they're going to look sharp. It'll look really sharp. So here's my shirt tonight, because last night, if you remember, Angie was cutting up my shirts. She said, how could I take you seriously with the shirt you're wearing, with all those colors? So tonight I got a more bland shirt with Mike's on. It's kind of cool shirt, right? Tonight we're going to talk about something that happened during one of the presidential, the president's up there giving his corona discussion of the day, and his what do they call it? It doesn't matter what they call it. You know what I'm talking about, right? And one guy, the pillow guy, the pillow guy, right? MyPillow.com with the song in the background. MyPillow.com. I don't think that's it, but he should use me. I got a better voice than whoever he's using. MyPillow.com. You have to have the com with the it's got to be like the Neil Diamond.com. You got to have the little raspy voice in there as well. So I'm going to play this. This is Mike Lindell is his name. Mike Lindell, the founder, creator of MyPillow.com. And here he is talking to the president, and people are really pissed at this. There's a whole agenda, that a backlash to the MyPillow guy. Should he have actually come on and talked or spoken? Because he's got some people that probably really dig him now. And whenever you get involved with especially this president, if you get involved with him, you are going to be pulled in either direction, right or left, by the lunatics out there who are pulling right and left for or against Trump. There is no middle ground. There's no middle America anymore. There's no middle ground with politics. I'm going to play it, listen to it, and then we can make commentary on it during the show. And I'm going to make commentary, as I always do. The loudmouth guy, Dave Darren's going to make commentary on this like he did last night. Here we go, guys. This is Mike Lindell talking with the president, about the way the virus is being handled by the president, and not only him, the people behind him that you always see behind him giving him advice. Here we go. Check this out.
Now I wrote something off the cuff, if I can read this. Okay. God gave us grace on November 8, 2016 to change the course we were on. God had been taken out of our schools and lives. A nation had turned its back on God. And I encourage you to use this time at home to get back in the Word, read our Bibles, and spend time with our families. Our president gave us so much hope where just a few short months ago, we had the best economy, the lowest unemployment, and wages going up. It was amazing. With our great president, vice president, and this administration, and all the great people in this country praying daily, we will get through this and get back to a place that's stronger and safer than ever.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, welcome. Brian was asking what kind of beer this is. This is actually a German beer. It's a German Pilsner. All right, so this is what I'm drinking here. And by the way, I'll play that again for any guys that missed it. But here's the way you're supposed to pour a beer for all you guys that don't know. You angle the glass. I've got my little rock glass here with the guitar on it. And you angle the glass while you pour the beer. And as it's going to overflow the glass, you make sure that you angle it back upright so that you get less head in the beer. I mean, the whole idea of the evening is when you meet a girl, you want to get head, but when you drink beer, you don't want to get head. So, and the way you can keep the head down, supposedly, is you stick the finger in it, because the saltiness of your finger will make the bubbles in the head stop so it doesn't overflow the bowl. So you use your finger because it's salty. Don't use the other thing that's salty. Use the finger, okay? I'm going to take a sip of my beer, you drink your beer, and I'm going to play it again, and then we'll make a commentary about the MyPillow.com guy, Mike Lindell, and we'll talk all about him tonight. Here he goes again.
Now I wrote something off the cuff, if I can read this. Okay. God gave us grace on November 8, 2016 to change the course we were on. God had been taken out of our schools and lives. A nation had turned its back on God. And I encourage you to use this time at home to get back in the Word, read our Bibles, and spend time with our families. Our president gave us so much hope where just a few short months ago, we had the best economy, the lowest unemployment, and wages going up. It was amazing. With our great president, vice president, and this administration, and all the great people in this country praying daily, we will get through this and get back to a place that's stronger and safer than ever.
Thank you very much.
Okay, back to the Dave Darren show. Did you have your? I'm not stuttering, by the way. I just slurred the word there, didn't I? I only had this much beer. I don't drink much beer, so I do get a little buzz quickly. Another sip. Oishikata. That's Japanese. Oishi means delicious. And if you want to get a beer in a Japanese place, you say biru wa nani ga arimasu ka? That means what kind of beer do you have? A little bit of Japanese for you guys, all right? So we become more international on the Dave Darren Show. So how are you today? Genki desu ka? It means good. How are you doing today? What'd you think about that? Mike Lindell. A lot of people are up in arms. In fact, let me pull down my flyer for today. And you can see, is this another challenge of our freedom of speech? That's what I want to talk about. The left and media triggered over Mike, my pillow guy, Mike Lindell. Now it says that, I just belched for a second, beer. These are some of the social media comments. Now, I blocked out the social media comments because if you don't like my language, could you imagine what the people making commentary about Mike Lindell talking his religious platform? How dare him talk religiously on the platform? How dare him praise the president? So here we go. I added this little dialogue to the bottom. You may not agree with his religious views. In fact, I am not religious, but are we so far gone that bitter anger and outrage targets his right of expression? So here I am. You can see me again. You can see my face isn't red yet. Japanese people, they get red face when they drink alcohol. My wife, as soon as she drinks alcohol, she looks like a tomato. She gets all red, and I'm assuming the blood pressure goes up, and it's not a good thing for her. So she'll take a teaspoon of beer. So what'd you think about that? A lot of people are outraged about it. Why are they outraged? Why are they outraged? And if you read the article, it says most people on the left side are outraged. Now, are they outraged for the reason that the guy, Mike Lindell, brought a religious perspective talking about God on the platform? Were they upset about that? Or were they upset because, well, let's see. This is what he said about God. Now, is this what everyone's so upset about? And their panties are all in a bunch about because he said God has been taken out of our schools, or was taken out of the schools, supposedly now. And I don't know, I haven't been to school for a long time. I don't have a kid, so I don't know if they do. When I went to school, it was the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag. It's great to do that. We have to pay respect to our government. Really, we do. For the people that don't respect the president, you know what? He is the president. To get to be that level of authority, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of stress. So you got to at least respect the guy. You may not agree with him, but when people say he's not my president, yes, he is your president. You have the ability to get him out of there the next time you vote, so he is then your ex-president. But right now, he is your president. Like it or not, he is your president. So when people say that, man, that is like total disrespect. And, you know, you got to have, respect is lost. They should start teaching respect in school. Anything else the first class of the day should be teaching you respect. That's what it should be. Then the second thing are they all upset about is this time. It's time for us right now to read whatever the words were exactly. I wrote them down in brief. This is the time we can all spend reading our Bibles. Does that have you all in uproar? The two things where it says God was taken out of our school, and it's time now we can all spend time reading our Bibles. Is that what everyone's panties are in a bunch about? Or is that secondary? And the primary reason they're all upset is because, my God, how could Mike Lindell say this? My God, I never say my God. But today I am, because this is the topic. Mike says, God gave us grace on 11/8/2016. Of course, because the president was elected on that day. God gave us grace. Is that what they're upset about? Because God gave us grace by placing the president of the United States to beat Donald Trump. Is that what they're all upset about? I bet that's the primary reason. And the primary reason number one is, with our great president and vice president, we're going to cure this virus. So again, which one is the primary reason for everyone's panties to be in an uproar when they're on the left? When they're all upset about every fucking thing that's said. They target Trump thinking that he's the only guy working on this crisis. They think he's the only guy. Don't you see the people behind him? What are your TV sets all fucked up? Where you can't see the people behind him representing themselves and their logic and their information to that figurehead, which is the president. He's not a scientist. He's not a medical person. He's a person he's the leader of the country, and he's making sure that he's deferred the responsibility in this virus to the experts that are teaching him how to address us. And it's not only him addressing us. He brings everyone up on stage to address the questions that the media is asking. So what in the fuck is going on with you guys? It really, and then everyone's so hostile now. There's not enough masks. There's not enough ventilators in New York City. You know what? New York City should have been like the preppers. That's what they're called, the preppers. The people that have gone and prepared over the course of many months, many years, so they don't have to go and buy toilet paper because they're prepared already. Should New York City have not been prepared for this? Obviously, they're one of the cities that's obviously should be prepared for a terrorist attack, which this is a terrorist attack. It's a virus that's terrorizing the community, specifically New York City. Should they have not been prepared for this terrorist act when not that long ago, 9/11, terrorist act, clearly a terrorist act. Should they have not prepared since then? Or should they anticipate the federal government that doesn't make any product whatsoever? They're not a manufacturing facility. They're not Amazon.com. Should they have stockpiled for the 328 million people times 10 so that every person in the United States has 10 masks? So take 328 million. Should there have been 10 masks for every individual in the United States stockpiled somewhere in Washington, D.C.? So when this travesty and terrorist attack happened of a virus attacking 328 million people in the country, that the federal government is there to then become Amazon.com and send every single person 10 rolls of toilet paper. Should I go out the block of my house here and anticipate that the federal government is going to drive a truck up to my block and everyone in our neighborhood is going to be able to get 10 face masks or 10 rolls of toilet paper from the federal government because they have stockpiled it, because they know that our governor of Arizona is not on the ball. And obviously Cuomo is not on the ball in New York City. So he's deferring the typical thing of Americans. They don't take responsibility on their own. They defer it to somebody else. So Cuomo is out there saying it's the responsibility to be ready for this issue and this terrorist attack of this virus is not on his shoulders, not whatsoever. It's why he's literally washing his hands. He's washing his hands of this situation, saying that the federal government is responsible for this total fuck up. Unbelievable. I gotta have a suck of beer on that one. Uishkata. And you gotta say it with a deep voice. Uishkata. Got a text message here. It's irrelevant. I'm not gonna even read it. So that's what tonight. So what do you think about that? And the other thing I think is people are probably jealous because they see a guy there, Mike Lindell, talking religiously, number one, but their primary reason to be pissed is because he's praising Trump and he's honoring Trump as our president. And he's saying, thank God, God gave us grace on 11/8/16 because Trump is the president on that day, voted in. And he's honoring, he's calling our president great and the vice president great for the way they're handling the situation. And the other reason they're angry is, I'll pull this up. Mike Lindell, okay, let me scroll up. Mike Lindell's worth, an estimated $300 million, is the founder of manufacturing company MyPillow. So they see that and they see a guy in corporate America richer than everyone else is, and they are pissed and they are jealous because they read this. Mike Lindell, if he was worth $10, you think they'd be pissed at him? You think they'd be pissed at him? You think they would be pissed at him if another president, a liberal president, a Democratic president, or a socialist president like Bernie Sanders was up there as president of the United States, and Mike Lindell went up there and praised Bernie Sanders or Barack Obama and said, God gave us grace on 11/8/16 when, and if it wasn't Trump there, suppose it was Hillary Clinton. You think anyone would be pissed off when Mike Lindell was up there talking about Hillary Clinton and praising her performance, and which would have been total bullshit, by the way? You think liberal media would have been pissed at Mike Lindell at that point for praising the liberal president or the socialist communist president in Sanders? Think they'd be pissed? I doubt it. They're pissed because of his praising Trump, and they're pissed because of his $300 million that's in his pocket. That's what they're pissed at. And this is interesting, too, if you didn't know this. Mike Lindell actually has a book out, because I don't know if you knew this or not, and I didn't know until I passed a bookstore about 2.5 months ago, and I saw a book there with the cover of it being, I think it was a side-by-side image of how Mike Lindell looks now and how Mike Lindell looked when he was addicted to cocaine, crack cocaine, and alcohol, leading to the foreclosure of his house and his wife filing for divorce. Can you believe that? And he started MyPillow, by the way, in 2004 and grew the business into a major Minnesota, I didn't know where they're located, manufacturing company. So that's why everyone's pissed at him for 3 reasons. They're pissed at him because he was talking about God, and liberals don't want to hear about God. Actually, I don't really care one way or the other because I'm not a religious guy. I would rather he didn't talk about God. I would rather he didn't, but he did. And you know what? I can scroll past it, ignore it, and not worry about it, or listen to it and decide if I want to plug my ears with an earplug and don't have to hear him. But it was a short thing, I think it was. At least I got a snippet. I'm not sure if the speech was longer. I just got a smaller sampling of it, so maybe it went longer than that. But ignore it. If you don't like it, ignore it. You ignore everything else. Liberals ignore everything else. They ignore what they want to ignore. They're very picky, and then they hear everything that they want to hear so that they can be angry about it. They hear what they want to hear because what they hear is the bits and pieces that make them pissed off so that they can complain about shit. So are they pissed because he talked about God, or are they pissed because he praised the president, or are they pissed because Mike Lindell wasn't praising Hillary Clinton up there, or Bernie Sanders for bringing communists in the United States? You think they would be pissed at that? Probably not. Or are they pissed because here's a guy in corporate America who's worth $300 million? All of those things piss them off. It's fucking pathetic, really, if you ask me. It's pathetic. It really is. All right, so that's the end of my monologue. Let me see who else is joining here. Kathleen's here. She says hi to Terry. Terry's here, obviously. She says hello, group. John's here. John's cooking up some great food to eat. Let's see. You look good tonight. Terry says that of me. Well, thank you. Thank you. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I look good tonight. Hang on. I'm going to have some more beer. I'll have more beer while you guys call in. You call in now, and I'm going to play something right now. Before you dial the number right this second, let me play something else. Last night was an interesting show. I took some heat for it. And somebody who was giving me the major heat actually sent me something. And it is pretty funny. And she probably thought Dave is some kind of a crazy homophobic guy. And when I send him this, he's not going to like it. He's not going to appreciate the sense of humor. He's probably going to delete it. You know what? I didn't. I liked it. I thought it was funny because you know what? I'm not a prick. I look at things as humorous. It can be humorous against me. can be humorous against the President of the United States if it's funny. And if it's humorous, I'll enjoy it and I'll appreciate it for what it is, which is comedy, all right? So let me see if I can find it. This is about social distancing, all right? And this is very, very interesting. It's very funny. It's very well done. It comes from most likely a liberal perspective from a guy that is an interesting character. Check it out. It's 4 minutes and some seconds. So during this 4 minutes of 30 seconds, enjoy this. I thought it was funny. If you don't think it's funny, by the way, tell me why you didn't think it was funny, or tell me that it was funny, and then call up and talk about Mike Lindell, which is tonight's topic. We're talking about his speech at the morning presidential briefing on the coronavirus, where he spoke about God twice, at least in 2 references, saying God has been taken out of our schools, which now Donald Trump has alleviated that. And he also says it's time now during this coronavirus pandemic to read our Bibles. And then he goes on, how dare him say, God gave us grace on 11/8/2016 as our president, Trump, is in office. And with our great president and vice president, we will cure the country of the virus. And everyone is up in arms, pissed, fed up. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to turn it into comedy right now by this really funny guy. What's his name? Randy Rainbow. Randy Rainbow did this thing, and it's about social distancing. Check it out. Enjoy it. Tell me if you think it was funny. I thought it was funny. And I can laugh at anything. I don't care what the content. If it's funny and done well, I'll appreciate it, and I will air it as I am right now. Here we go, guys. Call in if you'd like to, 480-236-211 or 609-467-4000. I'll take your call. I'll put you on hold until the 4 minutes and 30 seconds is up. But enjoy this. It's kind of funny.
Joining us now is Vice President and dance captain of the Coronavirus Task Force, Mike Pence. Mike, give us your assessment of where we are right now with the coronavirus, which Donald Trump has recently started calling the Hillary flu, or in medical terminology, Obamatitis Nancyus Pelosis, or Kofifi-19.
All of our experts tell us, and they advise the president as he endorsed these guidelines to avoid social gatherings of more than 10 people. Everyone should stay home. All of those recommendations are part and parcel.
I'm sorry, you want us to stay home? Oh, I wish that I could help you, sweetie, but my schedule is crazy right now. I've got Pilates after work, I've got brunch on Sunday. Oh, and next week is Passover, so I'm in Cancun for the annual Blacklight Underwear Foam Party. I already bought those tickets.
What we're pleased to learn is being embraced by states and communities and millions of American families are what we believe is important for every American to significantly impact the spread of the coronavirus.
I have always led such an active life. I'm a social butterfly and kind of a whore. But this COVID spread now is running rife, and my country needs me, so I won't be anymore. I will break the chain, I will social distance, though it sounds mundane. Though I'll be a grouch, my community now relies on me.
Thank you for your efforts.
I will save the human race by lying on my couch. I'll stay home from work for 1,000,000 days. I will order Grubhub and I'll eat by myself. I will shop online, let my FOMO blaze. I will do my duty, show their charmin' on the shelf. I will crush the curve, I will social distance. I'll be here to serve while I'm watching Disney Plus. There are lives to save, so I must be brave. I'll defeat the enemy by binging This Is Us, like my ancestors before. FaceTime with my mom.
And we need every American to step forward and recognize that if we act now, we can limit the spread of the coronavirus significantly and ultimately save lives.
I will save the day while I clean my closets. I will skip the gym till this plague has passed from 6 feet away. I will social distance. Back up. Sorry. I will do home manicures until we're safe at last.
We can limit the spread of the coronavirus significantly and ultimately save lives.
We will crush the curve. We will turn the tide. But for now, just suck it up and stay the fuck inside. I'm so bored.
Randy Ramo on the Dave Darren Show. What'd you think about that? John said it sounded like Broadway. It absolutely did sound like Broadway. Broadway is closed down now for all you guys that don't know that. Everyone probably knows it. In fact, in Arizona today, Arizona closed down a lot of stuff. They closed down like the playgrounds for the kids. They closed down a lot of stuff in Arizona. We don't have a whole lot of coronavirus going on around here. I think 25 people have died out of a population of 5 million that live in the Metro Phoenix area. 25 people have died, but they closed shit down. So it's interesting. So let's see. Looks like no one else want to talk about that. Now, I'm doing the show a little bit early tonight for one reason is Brad Mercer. If you know him, if you don't know him, he's a musician friend of mine. He's really a cool dude. Usually plays in one of these casinos in Palm Springs, which is in California. California's all closed down. They've been closed down for some time. The casinos have been closed down there. He usually performs a live set of his great music at that facility. So it's kind of a cool thing to do. He's been doing, as a lot of musicians have been doing, they've been doing all of these at-home performances. I think one person said they were willing to be hired for private parties. Now, I don't know what that means. You have to have, if you have a party usually people are drinking beer and they're forgetting about social distancing because they're socializing with beer. So can you really have a private party, invite a band there to perform, and not be socially gathered together? I mean, what are you going to invite? 5 people and they're going to be spread 6 feet apart, and the band's going to be there and the band's going to perform. Each member of the band's going to be isolated in a recording studio. If you've ever been to a recording studio, what they do when they record the music is they have like booths. It's like that TV show, one of the game shows where it was the one with who's that guy? I forget. It doesn't matter, but they would isolate a person in a booth while the questions are being asked of the other guy, and they bring the guy out of the booth so he can hear the questions again. Right? A lot of game shows did that, not just the one. But that's what they do. Where they put the guitar player in the private booth, and they have the drummer there, and the vocalist is in another room, so that they can isolate each one of the instruments. That's one way they do it. Another way they do it is via layering. So they record just the guitar player and just the drummer, and they blend the tracks together. That's layering. But the other way they do it is they want to layer. They want to have the ability to isolate each instrument in the recorded track. So when you digitally look at each instrument, you can separate it out and mix it differently or change it a bit. So that's what they do. They isolate them. So is that what they're going to have to do if they have these private parties? I shouldn't be scratching, right? I shouldn't touch my face at all. It's hard to do when you got an itch. Or you got to blow your nose. You got to use a tissue. So I should have scratched my face with a tissue, right? So looks like nobody's calling in tonight about tonight's topic, which was all about, or supposed to be about, Mike Lindell talking. Was it freedom of speech or what people want to take away from the guy? They don't want him to talk about God. They don't want him to praise Trump. They don't want him up there talking at all on these two matters. So they want to take away his freedom of speech. Some people are saying that Facebook is taking away our freedom of speech because they're blocking content specifically to what they don't want out there. And of course, that's Facebook all along. That's why I don't do shows on Facebook anymore. So it is now like 31 minutes after the hour. Let's do a commercial, and I'll come back and I'll either wrap it up or I'll take a call. But let's do a commercial right now. I do have a commercial. Here we go. It's a McDonald's commercial. And by the way, Omar, I got to thank Omar for sending me someone in the UK that's pissed off because they can't get their McDonald's right now. So I mixed it up with a McDonald's commercial with someone from the UK who's pissed off because she can't get her McDonald's. Here's the commercial. The commercial for today, McDonald's.
One of the nice things about McDonald's Chicken McNuggets, those hot, tasty pieces of boneless chicken, is that they're packaged in sizes for every appetite. Let me illustrate.
Fucking fuming! I want a McDonald's!
Your appetite will be the true guide.
McDonald's and you.
Oh, Mr. Whipple, Charmin bathroom tissue is so squeezably soft it's irresistible.
Charmin has a squeezable softness that's rich and fluffy.
Oh my God!
Soft fragrance, too. I only squeeze Charmin. It's a pleasure to squeeze.
Charmin is so squeezably soft it's irresistible.
George!
Irresistible.
Wake up, George. It's a dream.
Oh, that explains it. I'd never squeeze Charmin while I was awake.
Certainly not, George.
These four rooms, bright and iron and withered fumes, far below these sinful means.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Did you enjoy the Charmin commercial? By the way, today my wife and I went shopping, and there's still no toilet paper out there in Arizona. We only went to one place, one grocery store. There was tissue, not tissue paper. There's the towels are out there. The face towels are out there. Well, what do you call it? Doesn't matter. But toilet paper still wasn't there. It's interesting. So Charmin, Charmin missed their boat. They should have done every commercial with a guy's ass on a bicycle that's with the ripped back ass showing his crack. You need that for a Charmin commercial. Do I have to lecture you guys about the appropriate way to do a commercial? If you're doing a toilet paper commercial, you got to have the guy on a bicycle with a torn ass cheek showing his backside on a Charmin commercial. You got to do that, guys. You got to do that. I got to teach you how to market a product appropriately and to get more revenue on your product. I bet they're making a boatload of money. Let's see. We do have a call now from California. Let's bring this caller in on the Dave Darren Show. This is Dave Darren. You're calling from California, and welcome to the show. What do you got to talk about? Oops. Hang on a second. Looks like I don't have you for some reason. Oh, I know why. I forgot to plug in the thing now. So I'm sorry. Announce yourself again. I'm sorry. Now I got you.
Yep. You're kind of coming in and out.
Oh, can you hear me now? I did press a button, so maybe there was a temporary lag. Do you hear me now pretty well or no?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that clip that you played I thought was hilarious. But it also had a message to me. It pointed out the lazy-ass people who are rather insignificant and just don't want to be bothered to do their part to help the rest of the country. So that's my comment on that one.
The other thing it did, too, is if you noticed in the beginning of it, the guy was very uninterested in participating. And then he kind of changed his viewpoint to be interested in social distancing, to respect the general public. So it went from one perspective to another quite well. I thought it was funny. It was creative. It was clever. So thanks for enjoying that as well, along with the rest of the audience. So do you want to
You're welcome. Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. And as far as the pillow guy, I support the pillow guy. Actually, I have a couple of his pillows, and they're not bad. I like them because you can wash them. But as far as I don't want to get religious at all because I'm not a religious person, but I've read several books throughout the years on the power of prayer. Now, I do not know if there's some guy that sits up in the clouds and listens to people, and if they pray, he makes things better. Some people basically believe that. I tend to believe that the power of prayer actually is the power of their collective consciousness. And if enough people pray and project positivity can happen, and actually speaking, that has been proven. So, and as far as Trump and this, that, and the other thing. People are just full of hatred, and it just makes me sick. So I'm taking a new bend in life where I'm not paying any attention to any of them. I'm going to keep doing the best I can and to be as positive and to be uplifting to people as I can, and I hope other people will do that too. So that's all I have to say. I hope somebody else will call in.
Yep, we hope so too. Thanks, Sparky, for calling in and sharing your perspective on that. And I agree with that 100% as well. And some people do, obviously. It's probably, I don't know if it's 50-50. I don't know if it's 60-40. I don't know which way it goes. But I agree with that. And hopefully some logical people will become more logical after all of this blows over. And hopefully it will blow over within a certain amount of weeks. Do you think it's going to blow over sooner? Or do you think this is going to linger till June? And some people are saying that it's going to come back and haunt us, meaning the virus, in the fall. What do you think about that? Do you have a perspective on that at all?
I really don't know. I don't know, because there's so much BS out there. You know, you can take one thing and then find something else, and somebody else says something else. Like this ridiculous thing about these days of darkness. There's been 3 different people now that have predicted, there's days of darkness. David Wilcox got on, and he was saying, it was starting going to be on the 1st to the 3rd, or the 30th to the 4th, or whatever, and I'm just getting tired of hearing it all. It's just, through the internet, it's so easy to pass around a whole bunch of bullshit, and, there's a lot of conspiracy stuff. I listen to it, all fascinates me. I don't believe anything. I just listen to it. So, yeah.
Well,
what else can
that one about 1 to 3 days of darkness. Obviously, that means that we're going to have total darkness. Is that what that means?
Oh, no, apparently the darkness means they're going to shut off the internet and everybody's cell phone, and that makes absolutely no sense to me. Yeah. You have businesses that have to operate. You have law enforcement that has to operate, even if they have their own channels or whatever, but that even mark when they turn things off. So, I don't know. For a while there, it was 10 days of, quote, darkness. Lately, I've been hearing 3 days of darkness. So, I don't know. Maybe somebody else can call in and tell us what they're hearing. I'm not paying attention to any of it.
Yeah, I actually expected my internet service to slow down a bit, because now everyone is home. Everyone's working from home. Everyone is dialed into the coronavirus updates or sharing Facebook info or on YouTube. So, I expected kind of a lag in my internet service.
Yeah, me too. I watched some of the briefing today. I think it was today. And Trump was talking to the various heads of the internet companies and stuff, and they're doing their best to keep everything rolling really well. So, who knows?
Yeah, it has been. From my perspective, everything's been flawless. I haven't seen now. I have a provider. Maybe some of the other providers aren't quite as good. I'm not sure, but I'm not experiencing any delay at all. It's gone really well. I don't see any difference between now and 3 months ago. No difference at all. It's going all well. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't either. Maybe John can call in. John, call in. I always want to hear your voice.
Yeah, John, call in.
He's out working, and maybe he has a perspective that he can shout out to us too.
Yeah, I think John is eating right now. So, John, if you call in, don't worry. You can talk with food in your mouth. We're not going to see it. So, if we don't hear it, we're not going to even make a comment about food in your mouth while you're calling in. So thanks, Mark.
Exactly. No judgment here. Okay, I'm going to let you go. Hope somebody else will call.
Yep, cool. Thanks, Sparky, for calling in on the Dave Darren Show. Good night.
You're welcome. Good night.
Okay, so that's what we wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Mike Lindell, but we don't have to stick with that topic. It can be open mic. You can call in. Open mic. See, you can see I'm a musician. Open lines. You can call in at 480-236-2111 or 609-467-4000. We do have an available 20 minutes before I wanted to spill this over to Brad Mercer. We do have a call from New York City on the Dave Darren Show. We're going to bring him in. Hey, this is Dave Darren on the Dave Darren Show. You're calling in to talk to Dave right now. What's going on?
Hey, Dave, it's John. I hear you calling me on radio. I said, let me give him a buzz, see what's going on.
Cool. How's the food, man? Are you cooking really well? Are you eating, or what's going on?
I'm done.
You're done?
I made like 3 chicken strips, vegetables. I ate it already.
Wow. So you're a very quick eater. So did you have any comment about our topic or anything off topic? It can be open lines tonight. What did you want to talk about? What's your perspective on anything?
Mike Lindell. Let's talk about him for a minute here.
Okay, go ahead.
Mike Lindell makes a good product. I own 2 of his pillows. and I never slept better on him in my entire life.
Wow, Sparky called in earlier, and she owns 2 of them as well. So I don't own one.
Yeah.
Maybe I better get one because if they're relaxing to you and Sparky, and you can see how overwrought I am and frustrated I am. You can imagine I have a hard time sleeping. If you see me on the video here, you know Dave Darren needs to sleep more so his attitude's better. I better get my pillow.
You're going to have to order them.
Yep. So what do you think about Mike Lindell in general, specifically on this topic we're talking about tonight?
Well, what he did was he mentioned God,
Yep.
and they hate that. You know, Trump is the guy they've been demonizing now for 3.5 years, maybe even longer. And now he comes out and says God sent him here, and that goes against what they believe. So they're not happy.
Right, and it's funny because God sent him here, but if Bernie Sanders ever gets elected, Satan sent him here, right?
Satan or Beelzebub.
Right, right. So you're right. You're right. But do you think that they're more upset about him talking about God, or do you think they're more upset about him praising Trump for the work that he's done, or for thank God Trump became president when he did? What are they more upset about? Are they more upset about the God indication in general, or about Trump? Or is it you can't separate either one? The hostility just joins everything together in one lump sum of hate.
Yeah, I think it's 60-40. 60% for God, 40% for Trump.
Oh, you think? I thought it would be 40-60 the other way around. I thought it would be more targeted to the anger for Lindell praising Trump and Vice President Pence, and I thought it would be more hate directed at that, and 40% God. But you think it's the other way around. So they're more angry in any respect for God. They're more angry than any respect for the president.
Yeah.
How about that?
There was an old joke going around saying if Trump found a cure for cancer, they would protest and say, I have a right to die of cancer if I feel like it.
Yeah.
This man is horrible.
Yeah, yeah. So in other words, you're thinking that, do you believe that the right perspective, the conservatives, are more religious than the liberal party and the Democrats? Do you think that's true, or do you just think that the liberals in general just don't want anything to do? What do you think about that? Religious-wise, which party is more religious, if it's a possibility to say so, guess, or have a statistic on that?
Well, I've seen Democrats that go to church every day and say their prayers at night. And, you know, it's not all of them. It's the controlling wave of the party right now. They want everything left, like, or Ocasio-Cortez, you know, she doesn't know what a virus is, and she's going out saying, oh, you can't do this with a virus, can't do that with a virus. She goes, I served cases of corona for years, and I didn't get anybody sick. And back to her bartending days. But, you know, the average American has God in their heart.
Yeah.
And the Republicans should talk about it more. If you're a Democrat, they want you to stick to the line. That don't include God.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I'm not very religious whatsoever. But I remember this movie, and I've mentioned it before, this movie, The Poseidon Adventure, with Gene Hackman, who is a preacher. And he got up there and he said, don't pray to God, pray to that part of God in you. I remember that line. That line, the first time I saw that movie, for some reason, that line stuck in my mind. Don't pray to God, pray to that part of God in you. Whether you deem that to be an energy, an internal power, a spirit of desiring to live, a will to live, whatever perspective that is, it gives you the energy to carry on, continue through triumphs and tribulations, to be successful in continuing on in the struggles that you've got. So, you know, it's interesting that I'm not really a religious guy, but I do believe that we have a spirit in us to carry us forward, and how we bring that spirit into power when we need it can be triggered in a variety of ways. Maybe listening to someone that's inspirational, maybe listening to someone who says pray, and we think, well, I'm not going to pray, but I'm going to take the positive part of that message and use it to rejuvenate me so I can survive in the times that we're suffering through right now. So it's very interesting the way people judge things. When they can judge anything, they can take the part of that speech by Mike Lindell, the God part of it, and just think of God. Well, I don't believe in God, but I believe in a power that unites us and the strength that we have to carry us through. I don't believe it's God, so I discredit Mike Lindell, but I appreciate Mike Lindell because he's lighting me up with the energy to survive this pandemic.
Yeah, he's quite energetic, and he's saying things to try to encourage people, to give them hope, and they're shooting him down.
Yeah, yeah.
I got people that I went to high school with, and they're on Facebook, and they're saying, "Oh, well, do you know that he donated $200,000 to the Trump campaign? That's why he's up there." And they're saying, "Oh, well, you know, Trump takes care of his buddies, and we get a campaign speech in the middle of a warning broadcast." You know, they do anything to shoot him down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That is very true. So how was your food tonight? Let's talk about your food. Was it delicious? You're a cook. Are you the one that cooks in your family?
Well, I'm the only one, so I cook for myself.
Oh, okay. You're the only one. So are you a pretty good cook? Do you consider yourself to be really good?
I was trained by my mother, and she taught me all the Italian dishes. And I used to work for the restaurant company in Manhattan, and I used to trade recipes with Chef Michael White years ago. So.
Wow. So, you know, I got to tell you, you know, I'm a guy that was born in the East Coast, Philadelphia. I used to go on South Street to the place that all of the police officers used to go to, Lorenzo's Pizza. And if you go there on a certain night, they have Sinatra karaoke. So it's a cool place to go. Philadelphia is a great place for food. New York City is a great place for food. You go to New York City and you can walk down the street and they have these dollar pizza slice places where you get a slice of pizza for $1, and you're going to think, for $1, what kind of slice, what kind of taste am I going to get? It's still unbelievably delicious. That dollar pizza is still good. It's great. So you know, I miss the East Coast because in Arizona we don't really have great food here. Sometimes they say it's because of our water, and I know it's pronounced water and not water like Philadelphia. But they say they can't make great pizza here because they don't have the Schuylkill River in Philadelphia or the Hudson to get great water to make great pizza. But I really miss the food in the East Coast. It's tremendously delicious.
The worst pizza I had was in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, I went into the hotel and said, "Where's a good pizza place?" And the guy's like, "Oh, you've never been to Shakey's Pizza? You got to go there," which is a chain pizzeria. So I said, "All right, I'll go there." I went there. It was cracker bread with salsa and orange cheese on top. And I'm like, "This passes for pizza here?" So a few days later, we're walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and there's this place blasting disco, and it said New York Pizza. So my friend goes, "I'm dying for a calzone. Oh, we got to go in there." So we go in there. He orders a calzone. He opens it up. It looked like a calzone, but it was a Greek salad on the inside. Feta cheese, olives, lettuce, tomatoes. And he got up and said, "What the hell is this?" And then he goes, "Oh, you didn't make me the right way." He goes, "Get mozzarella cheese, get ricotta cheese, mix it up, put it in there." And the guy's like, "I never heard of it being done that way." So then he got a calzone. He said, "This still tastes like garbage."
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because I lived in Delaware for a while, and I used to go to Rehoboth Beach, and there's a place called Nicoboli's Pizza. And you go in there, and it's a Stromboli named with Nick, so it's a Nicoboli Stromboli. Absolutely delicious. Strombolis. I love strombolis. They're delicious. Done well.
Yeah.
Done well, man. They're tremendous. I miss a good stromboli. I'm out here in Arizona. Well, you know, you would think that the food, because we're so close to the Mexican border, you would think that Mexican food is great here. But I'm also disappointed in that. I mean, the food here is it's all chain stores, first of all. So if you want to get Japanese food, you're going to go to RA Sushi, and it's not even a Japanese guy making a sushi, so that's a mess. So none of the food here is really authentic, made by a private owner who owns the store. It's all chain stores, and chain stores are they just don't have that special touch. I miss the special touch. I miss that. So oh well.
You got to go to Olive Garden. That's really not an Italian food.
Right. That's exactly right. So what else is going on with your life there? Are you working from home now, or what's going on with that?
Working from home, 7:30 to 4. I'm in the middle of writing crystal reports for Devon's Ireland. So I got my hands full.
Wow. Crystal reports. The only time I used crystal reports was when I was on crystal meth, and then I did crystal reports. So,
it's old.
Yeah, it is.
I don't
remember,
know why they have that, but that's what they like to use over there.
I remember crystal reports when I was working with D-Base. Remember D-Base? Remember that program?
Yeah, I remember D-Base.
Yeah, and crystal reports. So we won't get all technical and all the people that were going to bore the hell out of them, so I'm not going to get into that. But do you find it, now I got to ask you this because a lot of people now are working from home, and you obviously did you work from home before it all, like a 1 day a week, no time?
One day a week I used to be home. Everything was okay, but then when everybody's home, there was a slowdown for the first week. And then after that, the people at BMS did something to the network and made it up to par with the office.
Okay.
And they're offloading it to Amazon and Verizon, from what I heard.
Okay, so they improved your capabilities to work from home because now everyone's got to work from home, right? That's what they do.
Yeah.
Do you find it? I got to ask you this question because a lot of people are working from home now. Do you find that you're as easily motivated at home than you are in work, or do you feel a difference at all? Because some people cannot work from home because then they start getting lazy. They wake up later, they start drifting, and they don't focus. Do you find what do you personally find? Anything different? Anything better? Anything worse? Less motivated? What do you think?
I have to set everything up. You know, every morning I have to turn on the laptop. I have to get on the network and everything else. And then there's a little bit of a distraction being home because if you hear something, you go look to see what's going on, you know, outside. Like, what are they doing? Is the zombie hordes coming now? So you look outside, just two people walking up the block with radios on.
Right. Now, by the way, do you live in New York or do you live in New Jersey? I forget which place you live in.
New York City, Staten Island.
Okay, so now I'm curious about this too. Let me ask because some of our people listening are probably interested in that. A lot of people in Arizona are stocking up on firearms and ammunition. New York is probably a lot more regulated. New York State's probably specifically New York City. Are you armed? Are you protected in case that zombie things come to fruition and you got to blow people's zombies' heads off the top of their shoulders? Are you able to stock up on any weaponry at all? Are you vulnerable?
Well, it's impossible to get anything here unless you know people.
Uh-huh.
So I have a guy in the lodge who's he's a retired cop, and he wants me to go to the shooting range to become a member of it. Once you're a member there, that boosts your chances of getting a rifle or a handgun.
Okay. So you do have a means to get. You may not have now. You don't have to tell me if you do or not. That's fine. But you do have a means. If you know somebody, it's funny. Everything on the East Coast, not everything, but a lot of stuff is who you know. I remember a long time ago, if you got a traffic ticket, if you knew somebody, you get the traffic ticket, and what they called it was you get the traffic ticket fixed. Or when you went to get your sticker, your tag in the back of your car to pass vehicle inspections, you would go and you can grease someone's palm, and you can get that sticker illegally. So it's funny. East Coast, it was like I know you, man, help me out, dude, or something like that. Of course, they don't say help me out, dude. That's California where the pizza sucks. But they would cut you some slack and help you out, right? They would do you a solid. I think that's what it's called. Do you a solid.
Yeah, do you a solid. And then there's also the underhand guys who are like, hey, you need a handgun, let me know.
Yeah, right,
Have the cash ready. Have the cash ready. Have the cash ready. Nobody got to know nothing.
Yeah. I like those guys. I am half Italian, by the way. And I'm from the Ruggiero and the Torettis bore this obstacle that you see on your screen right now. So I know the Ruggieros and the Torettis, and they were a very interesting family to be born of. So I know those little backdoor little alleys in Philadelphia. We had alleys. No one knows what an alley is anymore. Do you know? You know what an alley is, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandmother and my grandmother's sister lived across from each other, and the only thing separating them was an alley. So it was funny. You can cross the alley to go from one house to another, but you do have to make sure that you are able to step over the dead bodies in the alley. So that's the only thing.
Yeah, there's a side street by my house, and there's two big houses, and they have an alley in between them. So I was outside the other night, and I hear people having a conversation. And I'm like, what's that? A party going on? It's not supposed to be. They had their window open, and the husband and wife were talking to the husband and wife in the other building with their window open.
Oh, yeah.
Having a good old time. I'm like, wow, that's nice. They get to maintain human contact through this whole thing.
Yeah, it's very funny because my wife says if I ever got on the radio in New York City, I don't need to be on the radio. All I need to do is open up a window with my big, loud, booming voice, shout out, and do my radio show, and everyone would hear me because everyone open up the window, like you said, and you can get your vocal tones out there to a mass audience because of this loud Dave Darren's voice that you hear right now. New York City. New York. Tell people what it's like to live in New York City because I always tell them. It's got life, it's got energy, it's got excitement. You got to be there to experience it. People are scared of New York City. In fact, to be honest with you, I grew up in Philadelphia, and I was always intimidated about New York City. And the only way I got unintimidated is I moved from Philadelphia to Japan, actually. Then from Japan, we moved back to Delaware, and then from Delaware, we moved to Arizona. And then I've had a lot of clients on the East Coast, and they're all in New Jersey and New York City. So I started going to New York City, and I started thinking, this place is like Philadelphia on steroids. What was I so worried about? It's excitement. It's safe. I thought it was pretty safe. And it's got a vibe to itself that you have to experience. If you've never been to New York City, you got to go. Are you at all scared about walking around in New York City, or do you feel very safe there?
Staten Island is different. It's like Jersey. There's no big buildings. It's all residential. Everybody has a yard. Everybody has trees, and it's a little different. But if you go into Manhattan, I always felt safe in Manhattan.
Yeah.
All the time. And there's always action. Something going on. Music out of this building. Corned beef, cabbage smell out of the other building, and then a fancy restaurant. And you never know who you're going to see over there. Like, I went out for lunch one day, ran into Mel Brooks. And another time I go out to lunch and run into William Shatner. It's all like the famous people and the poor people are all together in one area. Nobody bothers anybody.
And you're right. Nobody bothers anyone. I was out there in New York, and I think my wife pointed out, because I don't know these people, it was someone from the Desperate Housewives. And it was one of the actresses from that. And my wife pointed her out, and I saw her, and I said, you know what? It's cool that we see her, but let's not bother her because it's not cool. She's out there. She's enjoying herself. No one's gathering around her. So Dave Darren doesn't want to make an obstacle of himself by going over to a Desperate Housewives person, who I don't even really like their show anyway, and I don't even know any of the shows. But it's very. You can go to New York City. I've missed this. No one knows what a knish is. Do you know what a knish is?
I love knishes. They're little potato breaded things fried in oil.
Yep. Now, there was this one guy, I forget the street he's on. I'll have to look it up and I'll have to give it to you offline. But I used to go there probably every third day I would go there and I have a knish. The guy was like 80-some years old, so I don't even know if he's alive anymore because I haven't been there in like 5 years. So now he'd be 90. But it was a small place, very small, tiny place. I think it was next to Katz. You know, Katz, the very famous place for getting sandwiches, you know, K-A-T-Z.
Yeah, I used to work up in that area.
Okay, so you know that. That's Soho, isn't it? S-O-H-O? Isn't that where it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I used to hang because there's a lot of music venues in Soho. So I used to hang out there at Bowery Electric and Rockwood Music Hall, if you know these music places out there. And I used to go in and grab a knish, and I used to go to Katz once in a while. I'll tell you, the fun in New York City, there's no other place like it. You don't need a car. But now I bet it's a challenge because everyone that goes to like Trader Joe's, they get their food like daily because they got to carry it from the Trader Joe's to their home or their apartment or their flat or whatever it is. They got to go every day because they don't have a car to stock up the big trunk of the car with all this toilet paper and all this shit. So they go every day. It's got to be a challenge now to go every day to get your groceries, and then sometimes they don't have the groceries you need. It's got to be a challenge. Are you seeing that challenge? Or you're in Staten Island, so you're spread out a bit more. You probably have a car there where you can get around and negotiate easier. Than
I got a car. Right? I go shopping in Jersey.
Okay.
Number one, I don't have to pay bottle deposits if I buy anything like water or soda. And number two, you pay half taxes over there, and there's more stuff for you to get because if you go there, you can go to Walmart. If they don't have what you need, you go across the street to ShopRite. If they don't have what you need, you go to Target, or you go to Wegmans down the road.
Yeah, Wegmans. I dig Wegmans. That was a cool place to go. I love Wegmans. That's one of my. We do have a place like Wegmans in Arizona. It's called AJ's. It's similar to Wegmans. Same basic concept. Same nice setup. Wegmans is really a cool place to go. Are there a lot of them in the East Coast? Wegmans is it New York? It's in Pennsylvania because my parents live in Valley Forge, or King of Prussia, and there's a Wegmans really close to them. How spread out is Wegmans? Pretty popular? Is it all over the place, or is it like Wawa where it's Wawa, you know Wawa, W-A-W-A, right?
Yeah,
Wawa,
all over Jersey.
Yeah, Wawa, I don't think it goes further north than, I know it doesn't go that far south. I think Virginia's the furthest south it goes, and I think it doesn't go into New York. I don't think Wawa's in New York at all, right? New Jersey's the highest up it goes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Wegmans is in Jersey, and everybody from Staten Island goes over the bridge to Woodbridge to the Wegmans there.
Yeah.
So when Pathmark went out of business, everyone's like, Wegmans, could you please open up here on Staten Island? That'll save us the toll. So they opened one up in Brooklyn.
Oh.
And they didn't open them up here, and now they lost a big chunk of business now because the people that we hear are like, well, you know, we keep that store open over there, and they won't open up here for us.
Well, you know, John, every time I talk to you, I feel like I want to cry because I miss the East Coast. And I would cry, and I have a roll of toilet paper here, but I won't cry. The only reason I'm not crying is I don't want to use a strip of toilet paper, so I'm not going to cry. But I'll tell you another story about New Jersey. You know where I was living. I was in Princeton, New Jersey. You may not know this, but my wife and I have a rental property in Hoboken, New Jersey, which we have tenants in right now. So, but I went when I was living out in Princeton, actually in South Brunswick. I think I told you that I was in South Brunswick.
By the Target that I went to, you said.
Yes. I was staying, when I first moved there, I was staying at the extended stay right next to the Target. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I go past it every day on my way to work.
I'll tell you one thing that's a pain in the ass. If you live in that area, it's right in front of Route 1. I'm sure you know Route 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I come out of the extended stay. New Jersey has this thing called jug handles, built by jug heads, because what you do, if you forget your cell phone, and that Route 1 is a traffic nightmare, because Route 1 also has the Princeton Junction train station for New Jersey Transit. I would come out of extended stay, and then, oh my God, I forgot my cell phone. I got to go back to get my cell phone. You can't cross over the median because it's a barrier there. So you got to go 1.5 miles to pass where I'm staying at the extended stay. You got to go 1.5 miles. Then you got to take this jug handle, which is like a clover leaf, so you can turn right, go around like a bend, and then cross Route 1 because there's a break in the barrier there. And then you're going the opposite direction on Route 1. And then you have to wave at the extended stay because there's no way to cross that barrier. You got to go 1.5 miles or 2 miles past the extended stay to another jug handle so you can cross that barrier. And then you got to go that 1.5 miles or 2 miles back to the extended stay in rush hour traffic. So if you forget your cell phone, just forget your cell phone. Don't go back because you can't. It takes you literally a half an hour to make that 1.5 miles, 1.5 miles, 2 miles, 2 miles. So you add all that up with the traffic nightmare and just forget your cell phone. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I was working up there in Princeton, I said, well, I'm going to run out of gas, and I know if I go south, there's a gas station there. So I went south, went to get gas, and then continue south. And I said, all right, there's no turnaround. So I ended up almost at Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Then I saw an exit for Trenton. I said, I got to get off here. So I got off there, and I'm like, oh, shit, now I know how to get back from here. So I got back onto one north, but it was about a half hour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People don't know that Route 1 is an interesting road because Route 1 will take you all the way to New York City. You know that, right? It'll take you to Newark. And Newark, New Jersey, by the way, has the cheapest gas prices in that whole area for some reason. So you go to Newark, and then, of course, you're right near the airport there, and you're right in close to New York City. And if you go the opposite...
That's where I am. I'm about even with Newark Airport in Staten Island.
Well, my dentist is in Elizabeth. You know Elizabeth quite well, too, right?
Yeah, that was where I almost got the other job for the beverage company.
Oh, wow. Very cool. So, yeah, Elizabeth, I like one of my earlier girlfriends, her twin sister went to Elizabeth College out there. So I know Elizabeth pretty well from deciding, well, which one do I want to date? Do I want this sister or do I want this twin sister? So I go to Elizabeth periodically to decide which twin sister I wanted to date. So it was kind of I couldn't date both at the same time, which was a bummer. But they probably wouldn't have gone off that well. Who knows, though? Maybe it would have gone off really well. And then if you go the other direction, you go from New Jersey right into Center City, Philadelphia, where it becomes Roosevelt Boulevard and City Line Avenue right there. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, if you get off, because they have that toll there.
Yeah, right.
If you get off on the exit before the toll, there's like this little village there, and it's Pennsylvania. Get off there so you don't have to pay the 50 cents. And there's a nice pizzeria there. I think it's called Papa's Pizza. Huge thing there. And they got a macaroni grill over there and shopping and everything.
Yeah, I know that place. I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. There's another place in Delaware, and this is kind of cool. There's a toll booth in Delaware before you get to Maryland, because Delaware and Maryland and Delaware and Pennsylvania, you can go to Pennsylvania from Delaware without crossing a bridge. But to get from Delaware to, if you want to get on Route 95 is what it is. Everyone knows 95 north and south. So if you want to go Delaware from 95 and go to Baltimore and Maryland, there's a toll right there between Delaware and Maryland. But if you get on Route 896, you can bypass that toll, but the policemen are there knowing that people are going to make that little curve there and avoid the toll. So they're waiting there. They can't give you a ticket for trying to bypass the toll unless you're a trucker. Then I think they can. But if you try to bypass the toll, they know you're doing it, and they know that they want to get you for something. So they're going to look for other things to pull you over for. So they're sitting there. That's where they do their roadblock.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. So it's really interesting. A lot. And the other thing they got a lot there in New Jersey and Pennsylvania is these roadblocks that check you for drunk driving. You're familiar with them. On the East Coast, they're big, right?
Yeah.
So they're a pain because I tell you, I'd go out and I'd be doing the radio show where I was interviewing rock bands and stuff like that. So I'd be at this place called Otts, which is in Berlin, New Jersey. Ever been there, Berlin, New Jersey?
Yeah, I think it was a nightclub that I used to go to years ago.
Okay, there's a place called Otts or Oats, I forget how you, Oates. And it's a place and they would have music there. So I would go there to interview bands and stuff like that. And I would come back on Route 63, back from Berlin into South Brunswick to go to the extended stay. And there was frequently a block there, and police would pull you over. And it got annoying to the degree that I used to, when I got pulled over, I'd say, you know what? And they would recognize me as the guy that's a pain in the ass because I'd say, you know me, I'm at Otts over there. I'm doing interviews with the bands, and every time you stop every single person, and there's like a big traffic jam there because they want to check every single person. And I know they want to keep people safe, but they're making people that are just there to travel. It's almost like you're guilty. If you're out 2 o'clock in the morning, you are guilty if you're out at 2 in the morning.
Yeah. They used to sit in the parking lot, and at 2 o'clock the bars close, and they're pulling everybody over, leaving the parking lot.
Yeah, unbelievable, unbelievable.
What are you doing out here so late? First ticket that I ever got was on Route 1. A cop pulled me over and goes, "You ran a light back there." I said, "I didn't run a light back there." He goes, "Yes, you did." And your friend laughed about it. And my friend goes, "I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at a joke." And they gave me a $75 ticket for running the light. I was 19 at the time. Where am I going to get $75?
Right. Well, now it'd probably be, I'll tell you what it'd be now. It'd be $250. Do you know that? The prices went up. It would be $250 right now. Yep. And it's funny because, in Arizona, I don't know, do they have this in New York or New Jersey? I don't think they do in New Jersey. I don't think I saw it. Do they have the photo radar cameras?
They don't have them in Jersey, but they have them on Staten Island.
Oh, did they? Okay. Now, I don't like that.
They're all over the place.
So let me ask you this question. In Arizona, they've got the photo radar. Now, in Arizona, depending on where you live, if you live in Scottsdale, and I know this because I got a photo radar ticket not that long ago. I think it was about 6 months ago. And when you get a photo radar ticket, if you're in Scottsdale, they have something called alternative service. So what happens is because when you get a photo radar ticket, your signature is not on it. So you've got to sign a ticket and send it back acknowledging guilt. Or you can sign it and say, I'm going to take a driver's class. What do they call that? Driver's ed class. Or you can just say that you weren't the driver of the vehicle, and then you'll have to decide if you can pull that off. Or what you can do is you can not get served for 90 days. In other words, they'll come to your house, they'll knock on the door, and if you answer the door, you're stuck. They're going to serve you, and you have to pay the ticket plus $70 worth of serving fee for that server to come to your house. If you live in Scottsdale, they have something called alternative service. So after a certain amount of attempts to serve you, then they can just tape it on your garage door, and that's your service. If you live in the area that I live, they've got to legitimately serve you with the server coming to your house where you answer the door, and then he catches you, and then you're stuck. Because at that point, as soon as he sees you, you don't even have to sign it, but he can say on his log, he saw you, he gave you the ticket, you walked away, but I slid it under the door, I gave it to his mailbox, or I taped it on his door because I actually had eye-to-eye contact with the guy. But you can get away with it. I did that. I hung in here. I had my Ring device to see who was at the front door. They tried to serve me 3 times. I didn't answer the door because I don't like the photo radar. I want to have the ability to talk to the policeman, explain my point of view. If he buys my bullshit or if he buys my real story that is legitimate, I can maybe talk my way out of a ticket because I talk to a human to understand me. You talk to a photo radar camera, there's no talking to a photo radar camera. How is it in New Jersey there? What's it, or Staten Island? What's it like there with the photo radar?
One, I was going to the mall. I was driving in an intersection with a green light. Then there was an accident up ahead of me, like 4 cars down. So they moved the cars out of the way, and then I go to move, but unbeknownst to me, because I had already passed the light, it turned red and it took a picture of me, and I got a $25 ticket. So I fought it, and I said, well, I didn't run the light. I was already there, stopped in traffic, and then the light changed.
Yeah.
And they said, we don't care, pay us.
Right. But only, and how long ago was this?
This was about 5 years ago.
And it was only, back then still, it was only $25?
$25.
Wow.
Of course, they didn't know who was driving at that time, and they still don't, but since Mayor de Blasio's been in, he now upped it.
Yeah, well, how much would it be now? My ticket was $250.
In September, I was on my way to the dentist, and they gave me a ticket for doing 35 and a 25 speed cam.
Uh-huh.
And that was $75.
Wow. Now, I'll tell you one thing you better be careful of, because I found this out when I got the ticket, and I got online and I was checking out these lawyers who were talking about Arizona's legality with the photo radar, and most of them think it's unconstitutional. But what they said is if you drive, I think it was 25 miles over, or 25 or 30 miles over the speed limit, you are actually cited with a criminal felony. And a criminal felony is pretty severe. You could actually serve some time in jail because you went 30 miles over the speed limit. And when you're in Arizona with some of our open roads, you could easily, because our speed limit, some of them are like 65 miles an hour. There's one place where between here and California, it's 75 miles an hour. So if you go 105, that's a really excessive. If you go from 65 to 95, you could say that's pretty excessive. You shouldn't be going 95. But if you go 30 miles over the speed limit, you will get charged with criminal felony, which I believe you could lose your license for like a year. You can be, there's significant fines for that. And if you don't pay it, you can actually go to jail.
Yeah.
And most people don't know that, especially if they're from out of state, because everyone comes to Arizona when it's winter everywhere else, and they come here, they hop a plane, they rent a car, and they're in Arizona playing golf. When it's snowing in their state, they're out here in 70-degree temperatures. They don't even know what a criminal felony is, let alone how you get one driving over the speed limit. They just think, okay, well, I'm going to get a ticket. Maybe it'll be like $300 for going 30 miles over the limit. It's going to be excessive. It's going to be expensive. But you got to go to court and you got to hire a lawyer. And the lawyers, the guy that was talking about the lawyers in Arizona to defend you against criminal felony for a driving ticket, it's going to cost your ass about $5,000 to get defended. And you will probably escape the jail time, but you're going to be out of pocket like $5,000.
Yeah. Where I got the ticket, the posted speed limit is 35, which I was doing. But then Mayor de Blasio said, oh, during school hours, it drops down 10 miles an hour, so it's 25. But I don't know that. You know, I'm on my way to the dentist. I'm not on my way to the racetrack. So I did what I thought was the speed limit, and I got a ticket. And they said, please pay this, or else we're going to seize your vehicle.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and I says, well, good luck, because it belongs to Nissan. I only rent it. So I said, I'm going to pay it anyway because I don't want trouble.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I paid them on the internet for your convenience. You know, we have a website you can pay us on. And I'm like, what is this, Hazard County?
Yeah, really, really. What do you think about de Blasio and Cuomo? What do you think about these guys?
I think they're two idiots, and they shouldn't be in charge of anything.
Yep. Now, obviously, they're in charge of a lot of shit because a bunch of boneheads voted for them, right? You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. So, any solution to them? What do you obviously? By the way, do you think that Cuomo, who's obviously on the airwaves all of the time, complaining about the lack of stuff for the hospitals, the lack of masks, the lack of respirators? What do you think about that? Was he not prepared? Was he irresponsible? Should they be blaming Trump and the federal government for their lack of preparedness? What do you think about that?
No, it's his fault.
It's his fault.
It's his fault, and the reason why it's his fault is they had the SARS epidemic here like 5 years ago.
Yep.
And that depleted all the masks. He was supposed to order them, and he was supposed to get respirators and all the other stuff. He didn't do that. He chose to go on a program to give illegal aliens health care and give them rent subsidies and free college and everything. That's what all the money went for that.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm curious about this. You know, you talk about, you know, Cuomo's asking the federal government for the masks, for the respirators. The governor's out there without them. And you said the governor was supposed to replenish the mask and respirators after SARS. But now who really makes this purchase order? Is it the hospital? Because who makes them? First of all, there's a company that makes them. The hospital needs them. So doesn't the hospital put in a purchase order to purchase them from the distributor or the manufacturer? Why is the government involved at all? Shouldn't the hospitals be placing the order for the I was going to say vibrators. They could use vibrators in hospitals too to mellow people the fuck out. But the respirators and the masks, shouldn't they be making the purchase order from the hospital to the distributor who manufactures them to place the order and have the order delivered? Why is the government involved at all?
There's a national, there's like not national, but there's a state supply of them. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think all the orders for the hospitals have to go through there.
Okay. It's
not a full coffer of them, then they have to get whatever they have left in there.
Yeah, now that's interesting because I know, having lived in the East Coast, I know the government, a lot of involvement in government. In fact, if you want to buy a house in the East Coast, you got to get a real estate attorney. If you go in Arizona, there's no real estate attorney. You buy the house, you go to the title company, and you buy the house. So I know living in New Jersey, it's a unionized state. I had issues with that when I work in New Jersey all the time with having to worry about the unions and all that. So there's always that middle step where you got to deal with the government somewhere. I wonder if it's nationally like that. For instance, a hospital in Arizona, I wonder if they have to go through the government in order to procure their mask and their respirators, or can they just order them directly from the company that manufactures them, assuming that, or not even assuming, but mandating that the quality is hospital equivalent to their needs, because you need a quality product there. I wonder if it's like that all over the place, or if it's very different, government to government, state to state, where we don't have to get involved in Arizona. We can just go right to the distributor. Hospital orders, procures it from the distributor. They get it. No government involvement at all. I wonder if it's different state to state. Any idea?
I don't know offhand.
Yeah.
I know that the hospitals themselves, for the most part, are independently owned.
Oh, really?
So I don't see why they can't get their own supplies. Yeah. But I know over here, Cuomo, another thing he did was he cut funding to hospitals. So we had Bailey Seton Hospital, which was a Catholic hospital, and he cut funding to them, and they had to close the hospital. And now it's the set for Gotham. You know, they filming the TV show.
Oh.
Yeah.
How about that? I didn't know that. So that's interesting. So it really is interesting the way, you know, all those reporters that are there asking Trump questions. Interesting. One of the reporters was asking Trump a question about something at the hospitals. And this was about 4 days ago. I remember Trump said to the reporter, who was a young guy, I don't even think Trump knew that reporter that well. He told the reporter, he said, "You seem like a very energetic reporter. Why don't you go to the hospital and ask them directly?" So it was interesting that Trump said that. Go to the hospital, you're a fine reporter. Get the scoop. Get the scoop on your own about the question you're asking me about the hospital. Go there directly. I don't really know how much government, there's probably government oversight on the hospital because they want to limit the amount of people that are treated poorly and die because the treatment in the hospital was under par. So there's got to be some government oversight, but does the oversight have to be in place to make sure to be the ordering fulfillment provider for these masks and respirators? Why the heck is the government involved in that at all? It should be direct from hospital to vendor. I don't understand that. It's unbelievable. And then you get incompetence from the governor who doesn't know how to get the mask anyway. And then, of course, since he doesn't know how to get the mask, he's going to blame the federal government, who is not a manufacturer. They're not Amazon manufacturing masks. You don't see Donald Trump, as soon as he gets off the mic, he's making masks. It's not their job to do that. The federal government has a very limited amount of things that they're supposed to be doing for the country. And one of them is not making masks and respirators. So what the heck's he blaming us for, right?
He sent Cuomo 3,000 respirators. And Cuomo took them and put them in a warehouse in Jersey. And Trump, then he said, "We need another 2,000. He said, "What about the other ones?" "Oh, that's a lie." He goes, "I've seen them in there." And he's like, "Oh, well, those are for in case it gets bad, we can pull them out, but you got to send us another 2,000.
Right. I heard that.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Plus, what are they doing in New Jersey? He's not in New Jersey. He's in New York. What are they doing in New Jersey anyway?
Warehouses are cheaper there than they are here. So he's going to rent one over there to put everything in.
Right. What did you think of Chris Christie, by the way, the New Jersey governor? Any idea about him?
He was a clown, pretty much.
Yeah, no kidding. It's funny, when I first went to work in New Jersey, coming from Arizona into New Jersey, I had no idea who Chris Christie was. And someone was talking about Chris Christie, and I said, I haven't been to a New Jersey strip club. Is that the name of the stripper there, Chris Christie? And everyone thought, "Oh my God, Dave, how could you not know who Chris Christie?" Sounded like a stripper's name to me.
Yeah. Well, he came out. He was a strict Republican, and then he cozied up to Obama after the Sandy hit.
Right. I remember that.
And that made a lot of people get pissed off at him. Then I noticed that in Jersey, if they're pissed off at somebody, they're going to take their party and they're not going to vote for them anymore. That's like they got this other bozo over there.
Yeah, that's right. I actually met Chris Christie a couple times. He was an interesting guy. And I remember a couple things that happened. Because I was a project manager at New Jersey Motor Vehicle, and I met him because we were on a critical project, very critical to New Jersey to have success. So we actually had the governor's office oversight on the project. So he came there to meet us a couple times. And I remember one time, remember that bridge gate thing he had going on where they closed the George Washington Bridge or fouled it up somehow where you couldn't cross it easily with a congestion jam? You remember Bridgegate, right?
So so that he can get through it easy. I think it was.
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics of it, but there was some scandal with Bridgegate involving the George Washington Bridge between New Jersey and New York City. That's the big road, the big highway, and big bridge that spans the both of those big places. But I remember when I was working at New Jersey Motor Vehicle, we called our communication line, our ability to do conference calls, we called it our bridge line. And Chris Christie was in the room. And you should have, because I'm like a comical guy and I'm a consultant and I get paid per hour. So I can tread the wrist lines a little bit, although I shouldn't because I get fired a lot easier than a New Jersey worker who's not only a state employee but is a union guy. So I probably should have kept my mouth shut. But Chris Christie's there and I said, I'm not sure, Chris, that our actual bridge lines work because I think you shut them down. and actually, he, believe it or not, he laughed. He thought it was funny. I got away with that. And everyone else is thinking, Dave's not going to get away with this at all. And Chris Christie laughed. So I gave him a bridge joke.
Yeah, he must have liked it.
Yeah, he thought it was funny. I still got along with him. I didn't get along with him. I didn't get invited to his house or anything. It was only a business meeting. But I made the guy laugh. So that count. I got a brownie point for making Chris Christie laugh, who's not a stripper in a strip club. He was the ex-governor. He actually ran for president, as some of you guys probably know. Yep.
Yeah, he closed the beaches in New Jersey and then took a family to the beach.
Yeah.
If you remember. And then he took pictures of them out there. Like, well, how come it's close to us? But you can go.
Right. I do remember that. And I remember one time we had an appearance on whether it was David Letterman's show or someone else's late night talk show. And it was funny because everyone talked about Chris Christie with the donuts. And when he went on to one of those late night shows, he actually walked on stage with a donut in his hand. So it was the guy did have a sense of humor, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very cool.
And now he's all washed up. They don't want him anymore. They can't do nothing with him.
Yeah, where is he at now? I don't know. I never kept track. Where'd he go? Is he living in New Jersey still, or did he move?
He's in Jersey, but he pops up on CNN a lot.
Oh, does he? See,
yeah, he's like the Republican advocate.
And he's on CNN. What the heck is he doing on CNN? I don't see a lot of Republicans on CNN.
Well, I guess Fox didn't want to pay him anything, so he went over there.
He went over.
He works for donuts and coffee over there.
I guess he does. Well, I tell you, John, it is great to talk to you. I'm going to close it for the evening, but it's great to talk to you, okay?
All right. Great to talk to you, too. I'm like your Burt Reynolds to your Johnny Carson.
Oh, right. Do you like Burt Reynolds? Burt Reynolds obviously has passed away. And you did the Burt Reynolds laugh just then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had the high bit, Burt Reynolds laugh. There you go. You did Burt Reynolds laugh. Very cool. I like Snowman, which was Jerry Reed on Smokey and the Bandit. I like Jerry Reed was cool as well.
Jerry Reed was good. He passed away also.
He did. And of course, Jackie Gleason passed away before all of them did because he was obviously older. So Jackie Gleason's gone. The only one that's still alive, well, Sally Fields is still alive.
Sally Fields is still alive, but she's way out there.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
I heard her doing interviews, and she's like, "Oh, I never watch anything that I do because I think it's beneath me." I'm like, "Well, you did it. Why don't you watch Smokey and the Bandit or the Flying Nun?
Right.
She don't watch any of that," she says.
Oh my God, I can't. Sister Betrill, Flying Nun.
Betrill, that show inspired people to become nuns. When I used to go to Catholic school, if everybody was good, they used to roll in the big TV set that was 8 foot off the ground, turn it on, and let us watch a half hour of the Flying Nun.
Wow. It's funny. You're saying if all the women were inspired to be nuns because of Sister Betrill, which was Sally Fields in the TV show The Flying Nun, how did we get all these ugly nuns where they all look like Sister Hoagie Nose? I remember we had We had in my Catholic school and Holy Spirit school in Philadelphia, we had Sister Victor. I remember her name now, but her nickname was Hoagie Nose. Why do we have such ugly nuns? None of them look like Sister Betril.
I don't know. There's all different nun orders. Like, there was one here that wore a habit similar to hers, but it was more like a bonnet. They were the Schoenstatt Sisters of Mary, and they had a convent in a mid-sized house, and we used to go up there, and they said, "Oh, you guys want to tell Peter what TV with us? That'll be great. It's all religious TV shows that they watch up there."
Well, I guess, you know, if you look at the priests who are pretty ugly, the nuns that are pretty ugly, I guess when they got together, they didn't have to worry about each other's looks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Well, of course, the priests weren't messing with the nuns because they were more messing with the altar boys than the nuns, but there we go.
From what I heard, I never seen it happen though, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. It's what I heard. It's like who was the guy that used to say, "I hear things, I hear things." Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Right.
I heard some things. You know.
Yeah, I heard some
things. A little bit.
You got the New York thing going, man. I love talking to you. You're a great guy to talk to. I appreciate you being on the show. Hopefully I didn't bore the hell out of everyone who's been listening, where I went through the Dave Darren New York Life event with John here on the Dave Darren Show. We're reminiscing back and forth about New York City, New Jersey, the governors, past governors. I had a blast talking to John. Thanks so much for being part of the show tonight, okay?
Thank you, Dave. I'll call again soon.
Yeah, do that for sure. Okay, John, have a great night.
Right.
Cheers.
You too. Bye.
Okay, that's all we got tonight. Thanks for Sparky for calling in, and thanks for John calling in. Thanks for you guys for sticking with the show as we reminisced the streets of the East Coast, New York City, Philadelphia, and New Jersey. Cheers, guys. Closing the show. Thanks for joining. I'll be back, whether it be tomorrow night or the night after. Who knows? I have no idea when I get motivated to do these shows, but you will see me again. Cheers, guys.
Sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.